The kingdom of Cotter, centered on Sri Jayawardenepura Cotter, was a kingdom that flourished in Sri Lanka during the 15th century. Its king, Parakrama Bahu VI of Kotte, was the last native sovereign to unify all of Sri Lanka under one rule. Etymology. The term Kotte means fortress in Sinhalese. The term derives from Indic word Kotte, which means fort or fortified town. So it is accepted that name refers to the fortress founded by Alakesvara. Founding. Originally founded as a fortress by Minister Alakesvara of the Alagakanara clan of the Kingdom of Gampola during the reign of Vikrama Bahu III of Gampola to checkmate invasions from South India on the western coast. Parakrama Bahu VI later made Sri Jayawardenepura Cotter his capital city in 1412. It was well protected by the large swamp which surrounded the area. History. Parakrama Bahu VI first became the king of Ragama in 1412, then in 1415 he made Sri Jayawardenepura Cotter his capital. The king upgraded the existing citadel and built a new royal palace. Parakrama Bahu VI waited until ties between the Vijayanagara Empire and Jaffna Kingdom were severed. First he captured the Vani and made its leaders loyal to him. Prince Sapumal was the commander of the Cotter army at the time. Rise in 1450, Parakrama Bahu VI had, with his conquest of the Jaffna Kingdom in northern Sri Lanka, unified all of Sri Lanka. At its height, the kingdom oversaw one of greatest eras of the Sinhalese literature. Notable poets at the time were Buddhist monks such as Thottagamuwa Sri Rahula Thera, Widagama Myri Thero, and Karagala Wanarathana Thero. By 1477, however, 10 years after the death of Parakrama Bahu VI, regional kingdoms became more powerful. Most notably, a new kingdom was founded in central hill country of the island by Senasamatha Wikrama Bahu, who successfully led a rebellion against the Cotter kingdom in 1469. Rule from Kelaniya. Parakrama Bahu IX of Cotter moved the capital to Kelaniya in 1509 and it stayed there until 1528. Arrival of the Portuguese. The Portuguese arrived in Sri Lanka in 1505, landing in Galle Harbour. Once they learnt that they had arrived in Sri Lanka, they sailed to Colombo. They were taken by a tortuous route to the capital, Cotter, which was actually quite close by. This was done in order to create the impression that the kingdom was too far inland to make invasion from the harbour feasible. This plan was, however, spoilt by the fact that the Portuguese who remained with the ship fired the ship's cannon repeatedly, which sound was heard by the Portuguese party being taken to Cotter. This incident gave rise to the local saying, Paringu Cotter Gia Vega, which refers doing something or going somewhere in a roundabout route instead of a direct route. However, during this meeting Portuguese managed to secure a trade agreement with the Cotter king. Demise. Cotter kingdom's downfall began with an event in 1521 which became known as the Vijayabha Kolaya. The Cotter king Vijayabahu VI's 3 sons mutinied and killed their father, dividing the kingdom among themselves. This gave rise to 3 minor kingdoms, Cotter, Sitawaka and Principality of Ragama. The divided kingdom of Sitawaka became more powerful with local popular support and Cotter kingdom had to rely on Portuguese for help. The king of Cotter after Vijayabha Kolaya, Bhuvanekar Bahu VII, got assistance from the Portuguese in order to defeat his brother, Mayadun. He also allowed his daughter's son, Prince Dharmapala, to be baptized as a Catholic by the Portuguese. After Bhuvanekar Bahu had named Dharmapala as his heir, he was shot, supposedly by accident, by a Portuguese soldier. In 1565, capital of Cotter was abandoned by Dharmapala of Cotter due to frequent attacks from the kingdom of Sitawaka led by Mayadun and his son Rajasinghe I. He was taken into Colombo under Portuguese protection. Most of the areas of Cotter Kingdom were annexed to the Kingdom of Sitawaka. However, after the downfall of Sitawaka in 1594, these areas were re-annexed to the Cotter Kingdom. In 1597, Dharmapala gifted the Cotter Kingdom to the Portuguese throne and Cotter era was officially ended. Military. The military of the Cotter Kingdom was closely associated with both its rise and demise. Poems written in this era give vivid accounts of the contemporary military. Before the arrival of the Portuguese, there are no signs of the use of firearms in the kingdom. The military consisted of 4 main departments, namely elephant regiments, Ashwa horse regiments, rear chariot regiments, Pabala infantry regiments. Notable commanders of Cotter army in the final periods of the kingdom, the Portuguese were often in charge of the military. Alagakandara, Parakrama Bahuvai of Cotter, Bhuvanika Bahuvai, Widya Bandara, Prince of Ambulagala, Samarakone Rala. Significant military victories of Kingdom of Cotter: capture of Jaffna in 1450. Capture of Vani, making its chieftains tribute-paying subordinates, successfully subsidizing a rebellion in Central Hills started by Jodhya Situ, invading a port of the Vijayanagar Empire as a retaliation to looting a ship belonged to Cotter, and making that port a tributary-paying port of the kingdom. Trade. The kingdom is situated near Colombo, a very important port at the time. Moorish merchants from India and Arabia dominated the trade of the kingdom until the arrival of the Portuguese. Spice trade such as cinnamon, cardamom, black pepper dominated the exports, while gemstones also was a big export. After the conquest of Jaffna, Cotter possessed the pearl trading, which gave an enormous wealth to the kingdom. Portuguese who arrived in there as traders were able to secure a trading deal with the kingdom on their first visit. Literature. One of the greatest of fields that flourished under his rule was literature, and that, since the king himself was very fond of them, royal patronage was given to literature, paving way to a golden age of literature in the island. Great poet monks of Cotter era Venthotagamuwa Srirahuladero, Venwador, Benwidagama Maithri. Notable artworks of the era: Sandashore poems, Kokila Sandashore, Paravi Sandashore, Gira Sandashore, Salalihini Sandashore, Hansa Sandashore, Nilakobo Sandashore. Poems and other anthology: Loadar Sangarawa, Buduguna Alankaraya, Gartalaya, Koryashekaraya, Parakamba Saritha, Sadamarathnikaraya. Buddhist education institutions started in the era. These institutions paved way not only to the enhancement of Buddhist literature but also to the development of Ayurvedic medicine. Padmurthi Piriwina, Karagala, Vijayabha Piriwina, Thottagamuwa, Sunithradevi Piriwina, Paparayana, Sri Parakamba Pirivana, Athul Cotter. Ayurvedic medical books written in Cotter era: Wadi Chintamani, Yoga Rathnikaraya. Religion. Buddhism was the religion of majority and given the royal patronage. A temple of tooth relic was built near the royal palace. Cotter Raja Mahaviharaya was enshrined by King Parakrama Bahu VI to held Esala Perihara pageant in honor of the sacred tooth relic. The ancient Kelaniya Raja Mahavihara also was repaired by the King Parakrama Bahu VI, and Sri Parakamba Pirivana and Sunithra Devi Pirivana have become most famous monasteries in the country and still the same. Hinduism was also given a foremost place in society. Most of the Buddhist temples entrusted shrines of Hindu gods Vishnu, Murugan, and goddess Parthini and god Gamba as the provincial god. Prince Sapumal, later Bhuvanika Bahuvai, had built his shrine near the ancient Bo tree of the Kotte Raja Mahaviharaya as a vow to defeat Aya Chakravarti. Portuguese converted much of the population into the Roman Catholic faith. The last king of Cotter, Don Juan Dharmapala, was the only Catholic Sinhalese king in Sri Lankan history, though several other contemporary kings had also been temporarily Catholic. Bathotamulla. Battaramulla was the village where the paddy fields that provide rice to the king's palace were located. The flower gardens that provided flowers to the king's palace were also located in this village, and the area where the flower gardens were, called Raja Malwata,